So in last lecture, we discussed about the for loop. My voice is appropriately coming to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So in last lecture, we discussed about the concept of the using the for loop. The for loop having a three expression. Expression one for the initialization of index. Expression two for the assessment of condition, and expression 3 is either incrementer or decrementer. And in the last session, we discussed about the two different programs using the for loop to find the sum of even numbers of first n natural numbers and sum of odd numbers of natural number n. Okay. So today we will see another program using the for loop to find the sum of a given pi numbers. So we know that how to open the file, new file. So just go to the file menu, just open a new file. Our aim is to find sum of program to find sum of any pi integer value of variable, let us say x. So how to begin with this program? The first step is add the necessary header file, and one of the necessary header file is iostream.h. To load this header file, of course, we require to use the preprocessor, which is known as a hash include. Now, to use the commands like clrscr and getch, we add another header file on your .h. After including all necessary header file, we will start the main function, and whatever we wish to write, they will write written under the main function. Left curly braces is nothing but the beginning of program. So first we will clear the screen by using the command clrscr. Then we wish to find out the sum of integer values. So we have to supply any integer values of variable x, int, let us say x. How many value I wish to integer add? 5. So I will have to give the n, and to change the index using the for loop, I will to give the I as a variable of index, and then I wish to store the output of sum into the variable sum, which is initialized with the 0. So it means that my n is nothing but number of observations. So there are 5 observations, which is integer. I is the index, which is useful for loop, which is also integer. X is a number which I am going to enter through input, which is also integer, and whatever the sum I am getting, it is nothing but the integer. So here I will write the sum, average, or you can say mean, and standard deviation. So of course the average is always in the float, because integer divided by the numbers may not be the answer integer. Standard deviation is also of a integer float in nature. So I will add here. as a float. After declaration, I have to give the information to the users. Enter the value of n. Then by using the cin command, you can enter the value of n. After entering the value of n, you wish to give the instruction to the users. For that you require use the out command, and any instruction should be right in a double quote. Enter the okay, value of observations. So how many observation? There are 5 observation. But how to enter this 5 observation? I have to require to use the for loop. So for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n, and I plus plus. So in the last program, we have seen that when we take I equal to 1, that means for loop, the index variable is I, it takes value 1, and then it will assess the condition whether the 1 is less than equal to n. Yes, it will execute the statement which is followed to the for loop. Then again it will go for the increment. Again it will check whether the incremented value is less than or equal to n. If yes, then again it will execute the statement follow to for loop. So this procedure is continued till the condition is satisfied. So here I wish to give the information C in X. So every time n equal to 5 is given, then I equal to 1, I will enter the first observation of X, then second observation. How many observation I can add? I can add the 5 observation. Why? Because n, which I am going to supply maximum 5. So here it may be 10. Then if you supply n equal to 10, then you can add maximum 10 numbers. It depends on the n. But in our program, we wish to find the sum of 5 integer numbers, mean of 5 integer numbers, and standard deviation of. So of course, whenever you wish to find out the sum, we require to go for loop. Then in last lecture, I have written sum plus equal to x. Is it? Whether it is working? Let me check. Then if I wish to find out the mean, so mean is nothing but sum by n, because the sum of all observation divided by the number of observation. Okay, and for standard deviation, you have to again use the for loop. What is the formula of standard deviation? It is a summation xi minus x bar whole square. So how will you calculate the variance? Can we calculate in this way? Sum 1 equal to x minus mean into x minus mean sum 1 plus. Sum 1 is another integer numbers or float number. It may be float because we don't know whether the mean is the integer or float. I will declare them as a float and initial value is 0. In short, before using, you have to declare the variable. And then SD is equal to SQRT. So I'm using SQRT function. For that, let me check variance of x equal to sum 1 divided by n minus 1. Okay, because the formula which I am going to use the variance 1 upon n minus 1 summation xi minus x bar whole square. and then SD equal to SQRT variance of X. Okay, because only one loop is executed after this 4, so that is how there is no need curly brackets. Here only one sum is executing after the for loop, no need of curly bracket, and here entry is I'm just entering the observation. So here I have used the another variable variance of X, which is a float, and I have used the function SQRT. So it is a mathematical function, and to use this mathematical function, we require to load the library math.h. So whenever you are using the mathematical function, you have to load the library math.h. Okay. So I think the program is over in that way. Last, the every statement is terminated by the semicolon. Now we will print the output, Cout, sum equal to sum handle. Then we wish to print the mean. Okay. We wish to print the standard deviation for the corresponding. Okay. And get ch. I think the program is over. Let us check to compile this program. We have to use Alt F9. So it is showing that there are no errors, no warning. So now we run. To run this program file, we use Control F9. And now it is asking enter the value of n. Suppose I have entered the 5. Then it is saying that enter the observation. So I will enter the observation 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 3 and 5. That means I can have the 3, 4, 7, 7 plus 5, 12, 12 plus 3, 15, 15 plus 5. That is 20. So here the sum is 25. Mean is 5. And standard deviation is 0. Is it correct? Why it is so? Anyone has any answer? Answer should be 20, but here we have a 25. So what happened? What is the last figure? In this example, what is the last observation value?
5.
5.
5. So if you make the sum of 5 times, what is the answer?
25.
25.
And when you divide 25 by 5, what is the answer?
5.
5.
5. So here sum is 25, mean is 5. And SD is 0. If all observation are same, what is the standard deviation? It is 0.
0.
So what happened? We have given the 5 numbers, but it has not understand the all 5 observation together. So it has taken the last observation. Okay. And that is how you have to print the output. So I am writing the program in this way. Then I will make here sum1 is equal to sum1 plus equal to x into x. Okay. Then what is the, this is the bracket is over. And then I will calculate the mean. And here I can use the formula variance of x equal to xi square, the sum of xi square, that is sum1 minus n into mean square. This formula we know, ना? Summation xi minus x bar square को आप अलग लिखेंगे तो what is the answer? It is a summation xi square upon minus nx bar square. Is it? And divide by, we have to make the n minus 1. And then we calculate what is the output. We will verify. Enter the 5 observation. 3, 4, 5, 3, 5. What is the answer? Mean sum is 20, mean
Yes.
is 4, and standard deviation is 4.5. Okay. So what the change we have make? Where, because we have not assigned the variable in the array. Here we have a 5 observation, but we usually write that let x takes the value x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. But here I have not saying that x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. I just supply the value of x. So as I have supply and I'm verifying simultaneously. Suppose for example, here you can see that when I equal to 1, I have entered the value of x. And immediately what happened? Initially sum is 0. I have added this value. So now the new value is in the sum is 3 because I am entering the first value. Then sum plus 1 is 3 into 3 is 9. Then again I will go back that enter the another observation. I am entering here 4. And then here what happened earlier, sum has the 3 plus 4 is 7, and here it is a 9 plus 16 is 25. So likewise it will calculating the sum x and summation xi square, and then I will calculate this. But here one thing is to be noted that as I told you that when you apply the division operators, integer by integer answer is always integer. Okay. If you have declared the float by integer, still answer is float. Integer by float, answer is float. Float by float, answer is float. So whenever you are calculating the any output, when you realize that it is a possible answer is in a floating point number and it is a ratio of two integer, so make them any number as a floating point numbers. Okay. So this is a small program, but if I will add, I will declare as an array, x as an array, then what happens? We have studied in the graduation level, if earlier if you x having a single observation, we call them as a scalar. But if you wish to store or if you wish to define or many observation with the same variable name, so we call them as a vector. Let us x is a vector having the several elements. So similarly, in a computer language, vector is declared as a array. So similar x having the 5 elements, let us say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we say that the first value of x is 1, second value of x is 2, third value of x is 3. Likewise, so x1 takes value 1, x2 takes value 2, x3 3, x4 4, x5 5. So in computer language, we call them as a array. So which array we have declared? We have declared as a x as a array. So array name of the array is a x, and then to declare the array, we use the square bracket. If you are using the single square bracket associated with the variable name, it is called the one-dimensional array. So same program we will write using the array. I will show you. Write a program to find some mean and standard deviation of any five. Now instead of integer, I will say that any five floating point numbers using array. Things remain the same. What is the first step? Include iostream.h. Second step, include onio.h. Third step, because I am using the mathematical libraries, so include math.h. Void main. SCR. Now I will declare first integer I, n, because I wish to find out the any floating point sum of floating point numbers, sum of mean of the pi observation, which are the floating point numbers. Similarly, standard deviation. So I will declare all them as a plot. First, I have to add the variable. As I say that I will declare the x as a array. So whenever I am interested to declare the x as a array, and what is the type of array? It is a floating point number. So it is a float x, then square bracket. In square bracket, you have to write how many maximum size of the array. That means how many elements would you like to store into the variable x. So let us say 10. Maximum I can add the 10 variables or 10 observation. So it is called the declaration of the array. Before using of array, you have to declare them. Okay, x square bracket 10 in declaration, what happened? X is a variable which is of a array type, and you can store maximum 10 elements. Then sum of the floating point number is floating point number. So I will declare as a floating point numbers. Then sum 1, because it is useful for calculating the variance. Then mean. Then variance of x, it is also floating point numbers, and standard deviation of x. Now, what is my basic role? I am interested to find out the sum of given numbers. So I have to supply the user instruction, enter the value of n. That means how many observation would you like to enter. So user will supply using the cin command. It is n. Then I have to again give the instruction to the users. Please enter the value of x. because I wish to enter 5 observation, so I have to use the for loop. Then I'm entering x, but instead of x I'm entering x of I, because when I takes value 1 I will enter the first value of x. I equal to 2, I will take the second elements of x. How many such elements we can add? X1, x2, xn. Okay, so if you give an n equal to 5, so you can enter the x1, x2, x5, 5 observation. Then now your interest is to find out the sum. Now there will not be any problem. Why? Because first observation is stored into the variable x1, second observation is stored into the x2, and fifth observation is stored into the x5. So we can make the separate loop. There is no issue. Here I will write sum plus equal to x of I. My x of I, because my values are stored in a x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. So it is stored in xi. So every time just I is changing. Initially sum is 0. So first observation is x1. Then in the second time sum contains the observation x1 plus x2. When you repeat the loop third time, the sum contains x1 plus x2 plus x3. When you repeat it n time, the sum contains the observation x1 plus x2 plus up to xn. So this is nothing but the sum of an observation. Now once the sum is with you, you can calculate the mean. Mean is equal to sum by n. Here sum I have declared in a float. N is an integer. So float by integer is result is float, and I have declared the float mean in a floating point numbers. Then I wish to calculate the for I equal to 1 2, because I wish to calculate the variance. Sum 1 plus equal to, because sum 1 has initially 0. If you forget to give this, what happen? It will give the garbage. So xi minus mean, because we know that when you calculate the sum, sorry, variance, so it is nothing but summation xi minus x bar. So here xi is nothing but x bracket per bracket I, x bar is nothing but my mean, into again xi minus mean, and whatever the square quadratic term I will get, I will add into the variable sum1. So every time I have a first time I have a output is x1 minus x bar square, plus second time it is a x1 minus x bar square plus x2 minus x bar square. Third time it is a x1 minus x bar square plus x2 minus x bar square plus x3 minus x bar square. So for a nth it is a summation xi minus x bar square. And what is the variance? Variance is nothing but sum 1 divided by n minus 1. Bracket is very necessary. You have to be very careful. And except for loop, every statement is terminated by the semicolon. When I wish to find out the standard deviation of x, it is nothing but the SQRT, variance of x. Then I have to display the output. So command name is cout, sum equal to sum and L, cout mean equal to mean and L, cout standard deviation, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 158 159 So to where it is stored? It is stored into the variable sdx. Get ch. And I wish to store is, so storing can be, just press F2, it will open this window, and by default the extension is a .cpp in array. That means using the array. Shortcut key of save is F2. To compile this, use the Alt F9. So one error is there. Which errors? Let us verify. Enter. It is showing
In
this
for
error.
loop, sir. For loop.
Why this error? So
I
we
is
can see
equals
that
to
the
1.
statement is semicolon missing. So where the semicolon missing? Here, I equal to
I equal
1
1.
semicolon I less than equal to n.
Yes.
Okay. Again, we will save and compile. So now there is no errors. And then just Control F9 to run. How many observation? 5. What are the observation? 3, 4, 5, 3, 5. So what is the output? Sum is 20, mean is 4, and standard deviation is 1. So earlier the standard deviation was 4 point something. So was the formula was correct? 1 upon n minus 1 summation xi square minus nx bar square. So you can find out the variance 3 minus 4. What is the 3 minus 4? Quickly.
Minus 1.
Minus
Minus 1.
1. So it is the minus 1 square. 4 plus 4 minus 4 is 0 square. 5 minus 4 is
1.
1. So it is a 1 square. So 1 square plus 1 square. 3 minus 4 is 1 square. And 5 minus 4 is 1 square. So that means total is, what is
4.
total? 4. And n is equal to 5. So n minus 1 is 4.
4.
So 4 by 4 is 1. So square root of variance, and variance is here 1. So square root of 1 is 1. So
1.
that is how the answer is correct. Standard deviation is 1. Okay. You can enter any numbers. Let us enter other numbers. You suggest me. Suggest numbers. Maximum we can write 10 numbers. Why? Because I have given x bracket 10. So you can tell. Let us enter the 10 numbers. The first observation is, let us say 2, 5, 3.5, 5, 9, 11, 1.2, 3. How many observations? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is the 10. So it is giving the output. The sum is 50.70. Mean is divided by 10. So it is a 5.07, and standard deviation is this. By default, it is giving the output of a 6 decimal. Okay. If you go to the R language, it is giving the 7 decimals. In C++, it is a 6 decimals. And if you need a more decimals or the lesser decimal output, then you have to use the manipulator function. And manipulator function, which manipulator function? It is called the set width. So set width is a manipulator function which is associated with the library iomanip.h. So that we will see in the next lectures. Any questions so far, anyone? Any questions?
No, sir.
So we have seen the concept of a for loop with the array. So you can see that while using the array, first we have to declare the array. So we have declared the array. So when you declare the array, that yes, किसका ये माइक अनम्यूट है, म्यूट कर दीजिए.
पीयूष माहेरिया, म्यूट योर
पीयूष माइक ऑफ करो.
पीयूष कर दिया ना? Okay. So while declaring the array, first you have to declare the type of array. So here the type is a float. It may be integer, it may be characters, it may be float. So we have declared the float. Variable, then after declaration of the array, array has the name. So what is the name of array? It is a X. So it can be any valid identifiers. You can write salary underscore employee. It is allowable. So variable names can be any identifiers. How the compiler will understand whether the variable X is array or not? After X, immediately when the pair of the square bracket is observed, compiler will understand this is a array declaration. So in a bracket, in declaration, what you have to give? You have to declare the maximum size of the array. That means how many elements would you like to store into the array name X. So I wish to store 10, then you can give 10. If you wish to store maximum 100, then you can give the 100. Okay. Then you have to declare the variable name, the resultant output, sum, one, mean, variance, standard deviation are floating point numbers. So I have declared them as a floating point number. Here we have declared the array. Where we have used the array? So we have used the array over here. So when I am giving the C in Xi, so here what it understands, I have been asked to supply the ith observation of the variable X. So X is an array. So where the ith element is stored, so you have to supply that value. Okay, and whatever the value you have supplied, it is stored into that element. The position of the array is always start with the 0 to n minus 1. But here I have used the for I equal to 1 to n. So I am storing the array in a 1 to n. Otherwise, usually the index start with the 0 to n minus 1 in a array. But it is up to you how you are declaring, you are using according to. So I have stored the first element in the first position, x1. So I am using here as a x1 likewise. Then here I have entered the elements of array and then I have used here because it is stored into the specific variable name. Okay. So I think this is the today's session, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. No questions.